Well, many Disney fans have been wanting an announcement about a brand new Disney park in the works. And they got that announcement today, not in the place I think that they would have liked to have heard or were expecting, but Disney did announce that they are partnering with Abu Dhabi for a new Disneyland park out there as a theme park and resort destination. So there's a lot here to look at and what happens with this and what's it look like going forward. So we're going to break all this down and talk about it here and what this means for this park and future potential endeavors as well. So we're going to read through this and give some thoughts on it. So hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic, and this is from Blog Mickey. We're going to look at a couple articles here breaking down kind of little bit of the details of this. So the Walt Disney Company has just announced plans to build a theme park in Abu Dhabi. The theme park will be located on Yas Island, a tourism destination in the United Arab Emirates. This will be Disney's 7th theme park resort worldwide, and says here's are the details. The Walt Disney Company, and I think it's Myril, Abu Dhabi's leading creator of immersive destinations and experiences, announced an agreement to create a landmark Disney theme park resort in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. The waterfront resort will be located on Yas Island, a world-class destination for entertainment and leisure connecting travelers from the Middle East and Africa, India, Asia, Europe, and beyond. The 7th Disney theme park resort will combine Disney's iconic stories, characters, and attractions with Abu Dhabi's vibrant culture, stunning shorelines, and breathtaking architecture. And we'll just watch this video here of what they said in the announcement of this.
There's really no secret about our approach. We keep moving forward,
with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
In Disney's 102-year history, there have been many defining moments and countless achievements. Today, we celebrate another thrilling moment, the creation of a spectacular new Disney theme park resort coming to Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi is a place where heritage meets innovation, a place where we preserve our past while designing the future.
Bringing a Disney theme park resort to Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, marks a historic milestone in our journey as a global family destination.
The 7th Disney theme park resort destination represents a new frontier in theme park ambitions. Our resort in Abu Dhabi will be the most advanced and interactive destination in our entire portfolio. The location of our park is incredibly unique. It's anchored by a beautiful waterfront, which will allow us to tell our stories in completely new ways.
This collaboration represents a powerful fusion of Disney's unmatched legacy in storytelling and Miral's commitment to bringing world-class entertainment to our guests.
An oasis of extraordinary Disney entertainment at this crossroads of the world. It will bring to life our timeless characters and stories in many new ways, becoming a source of joy and inspiration for the people of this vast region to enjoy for generations to come.
So lots of drone shots, lots of very flowery language. I think from some of the things you're seeing in there, you're probably looking at Zootopia, Frozen, Marvel. There's a few properties that they're going to include in there, but no details were given on that. But that is what they had said about this park here. The UAE is located within a 4-hour flight from 1/3 of the world's population, making it a significant gateway for tourism. The UAE is home to the largest global airline hub in the world, with 120 million passengers traveling through Abu Dhabi and Dubai each year. So the interesting part about this theme park is Disney's basically not paying for anything. This is a licensing deal, much like Disneyland Tokyo with Disney Sea out there, where they're essentially, the Abu Dhabi government is paying for everything, even the creativity side of things, and Disney's just offering the licensing and the IPs essentially. So they break down more of this. Disney to collect royalties and Myril to pay for everything. The headline here is that Disneyland Abu Dhabi will cost nothing to Walt Disney, and the project development, build-out, and operations will be funded by Myril, a real estate development, management, and investment company that is well known for its entertainment and cultural complexes on Yas Island. Disney said officially the new resort will be fully developed and built by Myril. Disney and its legendary Imagineers will lead creative design and operational oversight to provide a world-class experience. Myril, which has developed a number of family entertainment destinations on Yas Island, will operate the resort. Bob Iger was on CNBC this morning and said no two deals are the same, but that the closest comparison would be that of Tokyo Disneyland with the deal with the Oriental Land Company. DiMauro said that he and Iger were impressed by Myrtle and what they've done with the region, and obviously they're going to talk about why they're excited to go there. Said Iger said the deal is structured in a way that Disney will have total control of the design and creative of the park, but that Disney would have considerable oversight in the operations as well. So it is different in terms of like Disneyland, Tokyo. Disney does not have creative control over there. Tokyo Disneyland, from as far as I know, and I'm not a Tokyo Disneyland expert, but they can decide what they want to do with that park more or less, given the IPs they can choose from. Seems like this one, Disney has much more control, which makes sense if you know how Disney operates. They like control. So them doing this, they're going to maintain control and some operations of the park while essentially not paying anything, just collecting the royalties. DiMauro, sitting alongside Iger during the interview, said that essentially this would be a royalty-based agreement. He said that Disney felt very good about the deal, but said that they wouldn't go further into the details of the deal. He said this offers Disney a way to reach brand new guests, and particularly younger guests in that region of the world. On top of the royalties, makes this a really good deal for Disney. Iger did go on to talk about the location of this. Essentially putting one here, you are putting an endorsement of the location. But it says, in answering a question about the location, Iger had a glowing review of not only Abu Dhabi, but Myrtle, the financing, construction, and operational partner for the theme park. Iger started his response by noting that Disney studied the region very carefully before deciding on Yas Island and Myrtle to build in Abu Dhabi. He said building a theme park in a location is a huge endorsement of the location, and said that the location will be able to sustain a Disney theme park. He did note that the Middle East made a ton of sense for a Disney theme park due to the availability of hundreds of millions of income-qualified people. That's an interesting way to put that. Income-qualified people. Basically, there are a lot of people in the region who Disney determined could afford a trip to one of Disney's existing 6 theme park complexes. Iger said that the best way to reach those people was for Disney to bring its product to them and build a theme park in the Middle East. Iger then went on to say that Disney has found that 500 million income-qualified people live within a 4-hour trip of the planned Abu Dhabi theme park. They say it's very likely that the money drove the conversation here. You don't say. I would say money drove the entire conversation here, with Disney only expected to bring creativity to the table and not capital. Iger noted that obviously capital was not an issue when dealing with Abu Dhabi's Myrtle. Well, yeah, they got that oil money. Beyond capital, Iger said that Myrtle demonstrated a number of things that were really important to us. Firstly, Iger said that Myrtle showed a real appreciation of quality and innovation and appreciation of the arts and creativity. I mean, first off, this is a park that I don't have any personal interest in visiting or going to this region, as I think a lot of people will fall into that. And I don't think this is a park that's trying to get necessarily Americans to go to this region. I think this is more for people in that direct region to become acclimated and get, know about the Disney brand in terms of like increasing the reach of Disney. Timeline for this, Forbes came out and said that they're looking at, apparently like 2030, where, reportedly it could be done and built before Universal's UK park, because that one's supposed to open in 2031. So given, I don't think money is an issue when it comes to construction and Disney's not in charge of it, I think this could be built pretty quickly, potentially. This also could be, we saw Josh DiMauro was headlining one of the conferences, the Moffett-Nathanson conference. I don't think it's happened yet, but he is speaking there where typically the CEO speaks. And then you're seeing this deal go through where obviously DiMauro's he's head of the Disney parks end of things as well. So this could also be a little bit of a legacy thing for Iger and something to maybe usher in if DiMauro is the CEO choice going forward, which I don't think that would be the greatest pick, but we don't know who's going to be in charge. So it could be kind of that culmination as well, sort of a lasting footprint that Iger can kind of point to say that he was in charge of, bringing a new park out there, because they're not going to bring one to Orlando anytime soon. So I think anybody that thinks this is an indication of a park in the works coming to Orlando, I don't think you're going to see that. I have a previous video talking about that. You probably won't see that for at least a decade. I would say probably 2 decades as to why you won't see a new Disney park in the Orlando area. But I do think Disney's looking at, not only theme parks, but also cruise lines, places in which they can increase footprint and, increase revenue in places. And obviously with this one, there's no financial burden on them to do it. So it's basically just pure profit. Concept art does show sort of a modern looking castle, almost like a glass castle. Nothing's been confirmed in terms of IPs for this, but they did show in that clip that there was, Iron Man, There was Arendelle with Frozen. You probably, I would assume, see Aladdin and Princess Jasmine as a big part of this. So unknown about exactly what they'll include in this park, but it'll be also interesting to see how does Disney design a new theme park, and how much do they take anything from, say, what Epic Universe has done and implement this into a new park design. So in terms of, a lot of people are very curious as to how Disney would go about designing a new park. This could be, obviously, because Imagineering is going to be in charge of designing this. What are they able to do? What sort of innovative things do they bring to the table? Do they implement, Tomorrowland and Main Street USA, things like that? I don't imagine they'll have Main Street USA in Abu Dhabi. But the other one people are going to look at, and I think rightfully so, is this flies in the face with what Disney has set up as the things that they really, champion. They've been very open about their trans rights and gay rights and things of that nature when it comes to them as a company. And in Abu Dhabi and the Middle East do not share those same values. And in fact, they're very hostile to those people in that area. And I think a lot of people are going to look at that and think that this is very hypocritical. And I think I would say, yeah, it is hypocritical. But as I've always also said, at the end of the day, companies just care about money. They don't care necessarily about your values or my values, or if they even have values. They just go with what they think is going to be more popular and make them more money. So ultimately, that's what they care about. In this situation, they see it as an easy licensing deal. They stand, if this gets made, to make a ton of money with no risk, essentially, in a region where they don't have a presence. So for them, it's just potential more money as they are trying to find more ways to increase revenue, because you're talking about theme park competition, and you have, obviously, Universal Studios has announced that they're building international parks as well. This is a very different setup from what Universal is doing here. But, you have your biggest competitor having their own, I guess you could say, tentacles reaching out across the world. So this is yet another way for Disney to establish a region that Universal had previously shown interest in, that Disney, can come in here and try and set up shop here to try and maybe ultimately either get ahead of their competitor or try and establish their home base here before somebody else can step in. So I think in terms of that, it's just, they're looking at potentially making a lot of money here with no risk and no cost to them. And now what'll be very interesting to see, how does Disney spin this if they start getting flack for this. As of right now, I haven't seen a lot in terms of like media outlets. I've seen some things online with people being, seemingly confused by this. But I don't really think you'll get as much backlash for this against Disney as you would have years ago. There has been a bit of a culture shift on some of these things. And also, you've had other companies go into the Middle East and kind of take a lot of that flack, the initial backlash, if you will, about going in there. One of the biggest ones being Live Golf. Live Golf got a ton of flack for going into, essentially, it was funded by Saudi princes. They said it was taking dirty money. That was a great, Greg Norman was kind of heading up that or was a part of that. And then they got a lot of the PJ golfers on board. Those guys that went over to Live Golf got a lot of flack at the time for that, because they were getting paid insane amounts of money to play less golf and make more money. And a lot of guys took them up on that deal, and they got a lot of flack for it. But as time has gone on, Live Golf merged with the PGA Tour, and they haven't got near as much flack. So I think in this situation, Disney's probably not going to get a lot of flack, because other people have gone into this region and kind of normalized doing business with Abu Dhabi and Dubai in the Middle East. So you may not see the backlash. Now, Disney's own fan base, and I'll be very interested in some of the people that work for Disney. Do they have some things to say about this? Because I kind of have a feeling they might. But I think overall, the general public, you're not going to see perhaps the media backlash and things you would have seen, 4 or 5 years ago, whenever, nobody had really gone over there and done a lot of these things. And you could say the same thing for gambling with Disney. 8 years ago, they said they would never do anything with gambling. And now Disney's involved with gambling because it can make a lot of money. And they had a licensing deal. So that part will be kind of interesting to see how the backlash or lack of backlash there is about this. But I think ultimately, from a business perspective, it's a no-brainer from that end. Again, you don't have to put up any cost. You get to control the whole thing, and you pay no money, and you get royalties out of it. So on that front, just money alone, yeah, it's not a bad move. Now, culturally and how it's perceived amongst their employees and the values that they talk about a lot, it doesn't really quite jive with that. But at the end of the day, Bob Iger cares about he cares about money, and he cares about legacy. And I think this is a legacy thing. It's a money thing. And you can sit there and say, isn't it hypocritical? Yeah, but at the end of the day, as I always say about corporations, all they care about is making money. And so even though this goes against everything that Disney claims that they stand for, this region of the world and their track record with human rights and women's rights and gay rights and everything like that, Disney's going to go forward with this because they stand to make a ton of money off of this. And at the end of the day, money talks, and you're seeing that in action right here. As you have Saudi oil money, and seemingly Disney has put their stamp of approval on the Middle East in this area for a theme park. That is basically all I know on the topic here. So that's going to be it though for this video. So if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about Disney building a theme park in Abu Dhabi? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.